We all buy into this modern illusion, right? The idea that you can just drop a shiny new app into a broken government system and boom, everything works perfectly. Well, get ready to have that myth completely shattered. In this explainer, we're diving straight into the harsh reality of why perfect technology fails in the real world.
Just think about it. If you give a government watchdog a high-tech smartphone with GPS tracking, you think that would instantly fix a broken healthcare system. You track the monitors, verify the data, and force those ghost doctors to actually show up for work. Makes total sense, right? Wrong.
67%. Let that sink in. That is the unbelievable absenteeism rate of doctors in rural clinics across Punjab, Pakistan. 2 out of 3 times you walk into a clinic, the doctor just isn't there. We're talking about millions of people completely abandoned at their first line of medical defense. So the government rolls out this massive smartphone tracking program. And here comes the ultimate slap in the face. They spent an absolute fortune on these phones. Inspections skyrocketed by a massive 76%. The inspectors did exactly what the tech forced them to do. But the doctors? They still didn't show up. Attendance stayed totally flat. Zero change.
So, Section 1, Perfect Tech Fails. Let's look at what actually happens when algorithms meet reality.
Honestly, the logic was completely bulletproof on paper. Step 1, hand out the smartphones. Step 2, force the inspectors to take time-stamped GPS-verified photos at the clinics. Step 3, instantly upload that undeniable proof to the senior dashboards. It was supposed to be the ultimate, inescapable digital trap for lazy doctors.
And they didn't just test this in some tiny, isolated village. No way. This was a massive, province-wide rollout meant to serve tens of millions of citizens. We're talking about a monumental scale here. They went all in on this tech to force accountability.
But look at this. This beautiful flatline brilliantly illustrates the ultimate failure. All that advanced surveillance produced absolutely zero change in human behavior. The data was flawless, the visibility was perfect, and the doctors? They simply didn't care. They just stayed home anyway.
Moving to Section 2, catching the culprit. If the tech isn't the problem, who exactly is protecting these phantom doctors? The answer goes against everything we naturally assume about lazy bureaucrats. We have to look past the illusion of laziness and expose the deeply entrenched political patronage machine. You see, these public sector jobs, they aren't actually about healthcare at all. They are a highly calculated form of political currency.
Check this out, 44%. A staggering 44% of senior health officials admitted to something totally taboo. They openly confessed that an elected politician actively interfered whenever they tried to punish a bad employee. Almost half of the bosses had their hands completely tied by local politicians.
Welcome to the patronage playbook. It works like this. The politician shields the doctor from getting fired. In return, the doctor secures local loyalty and crucial votes for that politician. This isn't some glitch in the system. Guys, this is the system. It's basically a government job being used as a bribe, paid for with taxpayer money. And guess what? An app cannot fire a politician. The hard data absolutely proves it. If a doctor simply knows their local political representative, they are 21% less likely to even show up for work. It's crazy. They are virtually untouchable. That political VIP pass completely overrides the smartphone's fancy GPS tracker. So that brings us to Section 3, votes rule all. It really is the only currency that matters here. The contrast in this research is stunning. In safe political seats, the technology had zero impact. The politicians just didn't care. But in highly competitive districts, that smartphone data suddenly scared doctors right back to work. In those battlegrounds, doctor attendance surged by over 30%. Why? Because those politicians desperately needed to deliver actual services to win their tight races.
As the research states, at an electoral stronghold, a connected doctor is untouchable, but competition breeds accountability. In safe seats, politicians protect their cronies to keep power. But in tight races, angry voters who can't see a doctor will literally vote you out. The fear of losing the election is the only thing that outweighs the value of the dirty patronage game.
Now let's look at Section 4, the magic of red data. This is the dashboard that triggered absolute panic.
The researchers ran a fascinating secondary experiment to totally hack the psychology of these bureaucrats. They took the exact same absence data, but instead of showing boring black and white numbers, they secretly programmed the dashboard to flag the worst clinics in bright, glaring red.
They turned a boring spreadsheet into an unavoidable visual crisis.
And the result? Unbelievable. Simply changing the color of the data to red caused a massive 27% spike in doctor attendance during the very next inspection. It was the exact same data, just a different color. But it triggered immediate panic and forced the bosses to finally pick up the phone and yell at the absent doctors. This totally destroys the myth that government officials are powerless. They aren't powerless at all, they just need data so glaringly obvious they literally cannot ignore it. But remember, this red data magic still only worked if they weren't politically handcuffed by politicians in those safe seats.
Okay, final section, breaking the hidden rules. Let's talk about what tech actually solves.
Here are the brutal limits of technology. No, the tech didn't fix the clinics. But it did do something incredibly valuable. It dragged those invisible, dirty political rules out into the broad daylight. It perfectly quantifies corruption, even if it can't cure it. You simply cannot patch a broken political incentive with hardware. If we want real reform, we have to weaponize voter awareness, not just deploy shiny new apps.
Just look at the sheer volume of political interference here. It's a structural disease. Mapping the interference against political competition proves structurally what everyone used to just whisper about. Think of the smartphone like a thermometer. It tells you that you have a fever, but it absolutely cannot cure the disease on its own.
We have to fundamentally change how we think about innovation. Technology is just a mirror. We've got to stop pretending that dropping Silicon Valley tools into developing bureaucracies will magically bypass the really dirty work of power dynamics. The real battle is, and always will be, political.
So when the limits of technology end exactly where politics begins, can we really expect algorithms to save reality? It leaves us with a chilling thought. Until we fundamentally change the incentives of the people in power, are we really solving problems, or are we just building smarter, more expensive ways to document our own failures? Think about that.